Watch. CNBC's Steve Liesman wears the clown nose with latest good inflation report for Trump. They don't know what to do with themselves. These political economists, and I call them political economists because it depends on who's president on how they give their predictions. And see, they always rule out Trump. They always rule out Trump, and then Trump end up crushing expectations. Look at this economy. We just got the numbers from inflation. Inflation grew smaller than they expected. And things are starting to look up in the economy, and they are beside themselves and don't know what to do. We're going to play the clip and hear what they have to say about it. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button. Share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my X account, so follow me there as well. Sorry, I forgot to turn my lighting on. Give me a second. Also, I already talked about the Patreon, but I'm gonna say one more thing pertaining to the Patreon. Check me out. I'm putting more content on Patreon. You definitely get a great bang for your buck because it's only $3 a month. And I put out a lot of good information stuff, a lot of stuff that YouTube don't like me talking about. So check that out. Like I said, I'm putting out more content over there. So definitely check that out. All right, let's get into this news. Now, this comes from MRC TV by way of MSNBC. I know that's a lot of letters. Let's play this clip. Here we go.
Well, we can go through the tick by tick. I came into the studio about 6:50 this morning when China put those retaliatory tariffs on, and it was clear to the market we're in the middle of a trade war, and I watched the market go down another 500 points. Later in the day, we learned that Fed Chair Jay Powell,
So this is from the past. This is from the past. The Trump crash. Remember when they were saying all that on Liberation Day and the market drop and, things are dire. They were talking about people jumping from buildings and stuff because of the economy. Look at all this fear mongering.
Cannot step in to rescue this market because he has to worry about inflation. He can't just worry about the downside growth. But if you take a step back, what's really happening here, Chris, is the market is pricing in the high probability of a recession. That's really what this is all about right now. How much, how little, we don't.
Remember, there was no recession talks under Biden, even though we were in a recession until they went and changed the definition of what a recession is. But now Trump's in office, there are talks of recession. Remember that?
No, I will say that if there is going to be a recession, there could be further for stocks to fall here. One way to think about this, Chris, is the future value of America is now $7 to $10 trillion less than it was before Donald Trump took office. And I guess another way to think about it is this, that, the Titanic hit an iceberg by accident. This is the equivalent of steering the Titanic towards the iceberg. What's not happening here is the market is not pricing in some form of golden age where manufacturing comes back to America and this country prospers as a result of that. The market prices in future values, and that's not happening. And just one more thing, Chris, which is a lot of conversations I've had with big investors, people who manage a lot of money, is this sense that they thought that Donald Trump, and especially the lieutenants around him, the Treasury Secretary, who's a hedge fund manager, the Commerce Secretary ran an investment bank, that they cared about things like the market and the economy, and they could keep the worst things of Donald Trump from happening. Well, that's gone. There's not a sense that anybody, I don't know if it's competent or anybody who can, the adults have left the room, is maybe one way to put it.
2 months later.
Steve Liesman, I don't know whether you thought we're going to get your reaction.
I call him Liesman.
This would be the month where we started seeing at least some effect, or do we got to wait another month? Or does it never come? That's what I'm hoping.
It never comes.
Well, I want to make a broader point here, Joe, which is this.
Egg on my face.
I still think there is tariff impact to come. You can see a little bit of tariff impact in places like
He just can't.
appliances up 0.8% 2 months in a row. Something important to me, music equipment up 0.4, photo equipment up 1.6. But that's not the broader point I want to make. I want to make this point, which is that the concern at the Federal Reserve was not just that tariff-related prices would go up.
That's what you were
It's that it would
saying.
spread more broadly to other tariff prices, and that the issue of inflation expectations, which you talked about very eloquently this morning with Richard Clarida, would be an issue for the Federal Reserve. Not only did we get a decline in inflation expectations earlier this week from the important New York Fed report, but even if I zero in on just the tariff-related increases, I look elsewhere and I do not see broader impacts on inflation from the tariffs. So yes, I expect tariffs prices to come. You cannot collect year-to-date $70 billion in tariff revenue and not have prices go up. That is going to happen.
Clown, right? Like, where is the inflation that y'all promised us, right? Where is the dire circumstances where the food is going to be inexpensive, and everything is going to go up? What happened to all of that? The doomsayers? Whatever happened to all that fear mongering? Like, these people are political economists. So you should never listen to anyone that's a political economist like that, because they are wrong, especially when you account when you throw Trump in the mix. They're gonna have all of their dire circumstances are gonna never come to fruition, because Trump put America and Americans first. That is why our economy is doing a lot better under him than it ever was under Joe Biden. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Leave y'all comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.